Justin Timberlake, global superstar, was handcuffed in the early hours of a humid New York night, arrested for driving under the influence in Sag Harbor. The incident sent shockwaves through his fanbase and the entertainment industry, threatening to derail his meticulously crafted image. This is the story of how one reckless decision spiraled into a public relations nightmare, a legal battle, and a turning point in Timberlake's life. The night began like any other for Timberlake, who was staying in the upscale Hamptons enclave of Sag Harbor. Fresh off a string of performances for his Forget Tomorrow World Tour, he was unwinding with friends at the American Hotel, a local hotspot. Witnesses later reported that Timberlake was in high spirits, laughing and mingling, with a martini in hand. By 12:30 a.m., he decided to drive himself back to his rental, a sleek black BMW, despite having consumed alcohol. It was a decision that would cost him dearly. Sag Harbor police, patrolling the quiet streets, noticed Timberlake's car swerving erratically. According to the police report, he ran a stop sign and failed to stay within his lane. Officers pulled him over, and the interaction was captured on bodycam footage that later leaked online. Timberlake, visibly flustered, attempted to charm his way out. "I'm Justin," he said, as if his fame might sway the officers. But the smell of alcohol on his breath, his glassy eyes, and his unsteady gait told a different story. He refused a breathalyzer test, a choice that automatically triggered a license suspension under New York law. The officers were unmoved. Timberlake was arrested, cuffed, and taken to the Sag Harbor Village Police Department. Booking photos showed a disheveled Timberlake, his signature charisma replaced by a grim expression. By morning, news of the arrest had exploded across social media and tabloids. Headlines screamed, "JT busted for DUI," and "Timberlake's drunk driving shame." Fans were divided. Some defended him, citing his decades-long career and clean record, while others condemned his recklessness. The arrest wasn't just a legal issue, it was a cultural moment, reigniting debates about celebrity privilege and accountability. Timberlake's team scrambled to control the narrative. His longtime publicist issued a brief statement: "Justin is cooperating fully with authorities and will address this matter privately." But the damage was done. Clips of the bodycam footage went viral, with Timberlake's slurred words and unsteady balance dissected on X and TikTok. Memes proliferated, mocking everything from his NSYNC days to his recent tour outfits. The court of public opinion was merciless, and Timberlake, a master of reinvention, found himself on the defensive. Legally, the situation was precarious. In New York, a DUI charge carries steep penalties, fines up to $1,000, jail time up to a year, and mandatory community service. Timberlake's refusal to take the breathalyzer complicated matters, as it implied guilt under state law. His attorney, Edward Burke Jr., a seasoned Hamptons lawyer, worked to negotiate a plea deal. The goal was to avoid a criminal conviction, which could jeopardize Timberlake's ability to tour internationally and tarnish his brand partnerships with companies like Levi's and Pepsi. Behind closed doors, Timberlake was reeling. Sources close to him described a man grappling with embarrassment and regret. He confided to a friend, "I messed up bad. I thought I was fine to drive." His wife, Jessica Biel, was reportedly furious but stood by him, urging him to take responsibility. The couple, fiercely private despite their A-list status, faced intense media scrutiny. Paparazzi camped outside their Manhattan home, and every public appearance was analyzed for signs of strain. The arrest also threatened Timberlake's tour. His Forget Tomorrow World Tour, his first in 5 years, was a critical comeback moment after a lukewarm response to his 2018 album Man of the Woods. Shows in Europe and South America were scheduled through 2025, but promoters grew nervous. Ticket sales for upcoming dates dipped slightly, and some venues issued statements distancing themselves from the scandal. Timberlake's team worked overtime to reassure fans, posting cryptic messages on X about "pushing forward" and "music as redemption." As the legal process unfolded, Timberlake's camp prepared for his first court appearance, set for July 2024. Burke, his attorney, hinted at a strategy to highlight Timberlake's clean record and charitable work, including his involvement with the Justin Timberlake Foundation, which supports music education. The hope was to secure a reduced charge, possibly a traffic violation, to minimize long-term fallout. But prosecutors, aware of the case's high profile, were under pressure to avoid accusations of leniency. Public reaction continued to evolve. On X, hashtags like #FreeJT and #TimberlakeDUI trended simultaneously, reflecting the polarized sentiment. Some fans argued the arrest was overblown, pointing out that Timberlake hadn't caused an accident or harmed anyone. Others, including advocacy groups like MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, called for harsh consequences, citing the dangers of impaired driving. A viral X post read, "Justin Timberlake's talent doesn't give him a free pass to endanger lives." Timberlake himself stayed silent, a stark contrast to his usual media-savvy persona. Insiders said he was advised to avoid public statements until the legal situation clarified. But the silence fueled speculation. Was he in rehab? Was his marriage crumbling? Was the tour at risk? Gossip sites churned out theories, while late-night hosts like Jimmy Fallon, a friend of Timberlake's, treaded carefully, making light of the arrest without malice. By late June, the incident had taken on a life of its own. Timberlake, once untouchable, was now a cautionary tale. The arrest exposed the fragility of his carefully curated image and raised questions about his future. Could he rebound, as he had after past controversies like the 2004 Super Bowl incident with Janet Jackson? Or would this mark the beginning of a downward spiral? As the court date loomed, all eyes were on Timberlake, and the stakes had never been higher. The first court hearing on July 9, 2024, was a media circus. Timberlake arrived at the Sag Harbor Village Justice Court in a black SUV, flanked by security and his attorney, Edward Burke Jr. Paparazzi swarmed, their cameras flashing as he stepped out in a tailored gray suit, his face set in a stoic mask. Inside, the courtroom was packed with reporters, locals, and a few diehard fans clutching NSYNC memorabilia. The atmosphere was tense, the weight of Timberlake's fame amplifying every moment. Burke wasted no time, filing a motion to dismiss the DUI charge on technical grounds. He argued that the police lacked probable cause for the traffic stop, claiming Timberlake's driving wasn't sufficiently erratic to justify the arrest. Prosecutors countered with the police report and bodycam footage, which showed Timberlake failing a field sobriety test. The judge, a no-nonsense veteran named Carl Irace, rejected the motion but signaled openness to a plea deal. "This isn't about who Mr. Timberlake is," Irace said. "It's about the law." Negotiations moved swiftly. By mid-July, Burke secured a deal. Timberlake would plead guilty to a lesser charge of driving while ability impaired, DWAI, a traffic violation rather than a criminal offense. The agreement included a $500 fine, a 90-day license suspension, and 25 hours of community service. Timberlake was also required to deliver a public service announcement on the dangers of impaired driving. For a star of his stature, it was a lenient outcome, but it came with a catch: public humiliation. The plea hearing, held on August 2, was Timberlake's chance to show contrition. Standing before Judge Irace, he spoke in a measured tone, "I take full responsibility for my actions. I made a mistake, and I'm committed to making this right." His words were broadcast live on CNN and dissected on X, where reactions ranged from "he's genuine" to "just another celebrity apology." The PSA, filmed shortly after, showed Timberlake in a stark white room, urging viewers not to drive after drinking. It aired across New York and was mocked mercilessly online, with one X user quipping, "JT's new single, Sober in the Suburbs." The legal resolution didn't end the fallout. Timberlake's reputation, built on decades of charm and talent, was fraying. His Forget Tomorrow world tour faced mounting challenges. Several European promoters expressed concerns about his marketability, and a handful of shows in smaller markets saw cancellations due to scheduling conflicts. Insiders speculated these were cover for poor ticket sales. A source close to the tour told Variety, "Fans love Justin, but the DUI made some think twice about dropping $200 on a ticket. Timberlake's brand partnerships also took a hit. Levi's, which had collaborated with him on a clothing line, quietly scaled back promotions. Pepsi, a longtime sponsor, issued a vague statement about reviewing partnerships. The financial impact was significant. Analysts estimated Timberlake's net worth, around $250 million, could lose millions in endorsements over the next year. His team countered by leaning into his music, releasing a new single, Redemption Road, in late July. The song, a soulful ballad about second chances, was widely seen as a response to the scandal. It debuted at number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 but polarized critics, with Pitchfork calling it opportunistic. On a personal level, Timberlake was struggling. Jessica Biel, his wife of 12 years, became his anchor, but their relationship faced strain. Tabloids speculated about arguments, fueled by photos of Biel looking tense at a film set in Los Angeles. A source close to the couple told People, "Jessica's supportive, but she's not thrilled about the spotlight." Timberlake, meanwhile, USTIN Timberlake's DUI arrest had rocked his world, forcing a plea deal and a public humbling. As autumn settled in, the pop icon faced a new challenge, rebuilding his career and personal life while navigating a skeptical public. This final chapter explores Timberlake's journey through the aftermath, his fight to reclaim his narrative, and the lasting impact of a night that changed everything. By September 2024, Timberlake was back on stage, his Forget Tomorrow World Tour powering through Europe. The shows were a lifeline, a chance to reconnect with fans and prove his resilience. In Berlin, he performed to a sold-out crowd of 20,000, his energy electric as he belted out hits like Cry Me a River and Mirrors. But the DUI lingered like a shadow. At every concert, fans held signs, some supportive, "We love you, JT," others biting, "Sober up, Justin." Timberlake addressed the scandal sparingly, sticking to vague comments about growth and gratitude. His team had coached him to avoid dwelling on the arrest, but the internet had no such restraint. X posts dissected his every move, from his stage banter to his slightly gaunt appearance. The tour's success was bittersweet. While major cities like London and Madrid saw strong ticket sales, smaller venues struggled. A show in Lisbon was postponed, officially due to logistical issues, but industry insiders whispered about soft demand. The DUI had dented Timberlake's invincibility, making promoters hesitant. His tour grossed $140 million by year's end, a respectable figure but below projections. A source close to Live Nation told Billboard, "Justin's still a draw, but the scandal cost him some casual fans." Timberlake, ever the perfectionist, took the hit hard. He spent hours after shows reviewing footage, tweaking choreography, and pushing his band to elevate each performance. Offstage, Timberlake doubled down on repairing his image. His community service in the Hamptons, completed by October, became a quiet turning point. He worked with a nonprofit called East End Youth, mentoring teens and funding a music program. Local media praised his commitment, and a viral X video showed him teaching a 15-year-old how to use a mixing board. "He's not just checking a box," the nonprofit's director said. "He's invested." Timberlake found solace in the work, a reminder of his Memphis roots and his early love for music. He began journaling, a habit he hadn't kept since his NSYNC days, pouring out thoughts on failure and redemption. His marriage to Jessica Biel remained under scrutiny. The couple, married since 2012, projected unity, appearing together at a New York charity gala in October. Biel, radiant in a silver gown, laughed off rumors of marital strife in a rare interview with Vogue. "We're human. We fight, we make up, we keep going." Behind the scenes, they attended couples counseling, not because their marriage was crumbling but to navigate the stress of public life. Timberlake leaned on Biel's pragmatism, while she admired his willingness to own his mistake. Their sons, Silas and Phineas, were shielded from the drama, though Timberlake privately worried about the day they'd Google their dad's name. Professionally, Timberlake's team orchestrated a comeback. The Netflix documentary Back in Time, greenlit in September, became the centerpiece. Directed by Ava DuVernay, it promised an unflinching look at Timberlake's career, from NSYNC to the DUI. Early teasers, released in November, showed Timberlake in a recording studio, reflecting, "I've had highs, lows, and moments I'm not proud of. But I'm still here." The documentary, set for a March 2025 release, aimed to humanize him, framing the DUI as a stumble in a long journey. Critics on X were split. Some called it a PR stunt, others a bold move. Timberlake also announced a new album, Resilient, slated for summer 2025, with producers Timbaland and Pharrell Williams. Lead single, Redemption Road, climbed to number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100, fueled by fans eager for his comeback. Brand partnerships, however, were slower to recover. Levi's paused their collaboration indefinitely, citing strategic shifts. Pepsi resumed limited promotions but avoided featuring Timberlake in new ads. Smaller brands, like a craft whiskey label he'd endorsed, cut ties entirely. The financial toll was steep, an estimated $10 million in lost deals, per Forbes. Timberlake's team countered by securing a new partnership with Nike, launching a retro-inspired sneaker line tied to his Memphis heritage. The campaign, rolled out in December, leaned into his underdog narrative, with ads showing Timberlake jogging through his hometown, sweat-soaked and determined. Public perception remained a tightrope. On X, Timberlake's supporters rallied, sharing throwback clips of his Justified era and praising his accountability. A fan account with 50,000 followers posted a thread, "JT owned his mistake, did his time, and keeps giving back. Y'all need to chill." But detractors, including advocacy groups, kept the pressure on. Mad launched a campaign called "No More Passes," indirectly referencing Timberlake's plea deal. A November 2024 survey by YouGov showed his favorability at 42%, down from 68% pre-arrest. The drop stung, but Timberlake focused on the long game. "I can't control what people think," he told a friend. "I can only keep showing up." Legal loose ends tied up by late 2024. Timberlake's license suspension ended in November, and he completed his PSA obligations. The DWAI conviction, a traffic violation, left no permanent mark on his record, a relief for international travel. His attorney, Edward Burke Jr., earned praise for navigating the case, though some locals grumbled about celebrity justice. Sag Harbor Police, flooded with media requests, issued a final statement: "The matter is closed. We wish Mr. Timberlake well." As 2025 dawned, Timberlake was cautiously optimistic. He spent New Year's Eve with Beale and their sons in Montana, far from the spotlight. The documentary's buzz grew, with early screenings earning positive reviews. Resilient's second single, Start Again, debuted in February, a funky anthem about perseverance that hit number 5 on iTunes. Tour dates for South America were confirmed, with enhanced security to manage paparazzi. Timberlake also quietly donated $500,000 to MAD, a gesture that softened some critics but didn't fully silence them. The DUI's legacy was complex. It exposed Timberlake's vulnerabilities, forcing a reckoning with his own privilege and choices. He emerged humbler, more introspective, but not unscathed. His fanbase, while loyal, was smaller. His brand, while intact, was bruised. The incident sparked broader conversations about accountability, with X threads debating whether celebrities face real consequences. Timberlake's story became a case study, taught in PR classes alongside crises like Kanye West's outbursts or Britney Spears' 2007 meltdown. By May 2025, Timberlake stood at a new chapter. The documentary's release was a triumph, streaming to 10 million households in its first week. Resilient topped the charts, earning a Grammy nod. At a sold-out Madison Square Garden show, he paused mid-set, voice cracking, "Thank you for believing in me, even when I didn't believe in myself." The crowd roared, a moment of catharsis. But Timberlake knew the road wasn't fully paved. Public trust, once lost, was hard to regain. Every step, every song, every interview, was a chance to prove he'd learned. The arrest, a low point, had reshaped him. It cost him millions, strained his marriage, and tested his resolve. Yet it also gave him clarity, a renewed focus on family, music, and authenticity. Timberlake's story wasn't just about a DUI, it was about the fragility of fame, the power of second chances, and the grind of redemption. As he sang in "Start Again," "The fall don't define you, it's what you do next." For Justin Timberlake, what came next was everything. Timberlake's South American tour leg kicked off in June 2025, with 80,000 fans packing a São Paulo stadium. His performances, raw and electric, silenced doubters. Offstage, he mentored young artists, drawing from his Hamptons community service. Jessica Biel joined him in Rio, their public affection quashing divorce rumors. Resilient's third single, "Keep On," hit number 3 on Billboard, its lyrics about perseverance resonating widely. Brand deals trickled back. Nike's sneaker line sold out, and a new Sony partnership teased a biopic soundtrack. X buzzed with praise, though some users still jabbed at the DUI. Matt acknowledged his $500,000 donation, softening their stance. His favorability climbed to 55%, per YouGov. Privately, Timberlake found peace. He and Biel relocated to Nashville, prioritizing family. The DUI, once a wound, became a lesson. At a Grammy speech, he said, "I fell, but I got up, for my fans, my family, myself." The arrest reshaped him, proving fame is fragile but grit endures. Timberlake's story closed not with a bang, but a steady beat of comeback.